Yeah, the topic we have here is concrete poker vibrator. Oftentimes we usually hear what people call all these funny names on site, right? So we will be wondering what is this poker vibrator again. So we're looking at the importance of concrete poker vibrator during concreting. So because when you do your concrete, that is pouring of your concrete, you actually need to do a bit of compaction. You understand? They use all these rollers on road construction for visible compaction. But during concreting, maybe you even have some areas that are very tight, and you can't actually even visibly use your hand to start compacting such area. So that is why you need a vibrating machine that actually helps you to do the compaction, so that you'll not be having cracks, you'll not be having void in between your concrete. So we'll be looking at the definition of concrete poker vibrator, so that we'll understand what it actually means. So a concrete poker vibrator is a handheld or poker type vibrating tools used to compact freshly poured concrete. So it is a handheld or poker type vibrating tool that is used to compact freshly poured concrete. So, it is only freshly poured concrete you can actually compact. When a concrete has reached its certain time and the concrete has cured, so it is difficult for you to start compacting. All right. So it is during the concreting, as you are pouring the concrete, you are compacting it, you are adding more, you are compacting. All right. So it removes air pockets, then improves density, and ensures a uniform, strong, and durable concrete structure. So for you to be able to, get a durable, strong concrete structure, you ensure you use this handheld poker vibrator. Widely used in slab. So we are taking a look at the areas where this concrete poker vibrator is used. It is widely used in slabs. During your slab construction or concreting, you tend to use poker vibrator. Then beams, columns, footing, and other RCC element. That RCC means reinforced concrete, you understand, element. So any construction process you are doing that needs concreting, that also needs compaction, you tend to make use of your poker vibrator. So we'll be looking at the key reasons why poker vibrator is used in construction, because some people usually see it how it is used, but they don't really know the importance of making use of these concrete poker vibrator. So we'll be taking a look at some of these key reasons why poker vibrator is used in construction. So the first reason we have is improves compaction. Because compaction is very, very important during concreting. So it actually helps to improve compaction. So effectively removes air pockets and voids. You understand? It is these air pockets and voids that actually cause all these honeycombs in your concrete. So it actually helps to remove air pockets and voids, right? Resulting in dense and homogeneous concrete. So if you have a concrete that doesn't have void, doesn't have air pockets, so your concrete will be homogeneous, right? So it improves your compaction for you. Then the next point is enhances strength. So better compaction increases concrete strength, durability, and load bearing capacity. So if you have a well compacted concrete, so we are talking about the strength now, because a well compacted concrete will give you great strength, great durability, and great load bearing capacity, because it's the load bearing capacity that is even most essential. You understand? So if you have a building with good bearing capacity, then it can actually withstand the load that is coming on it. So the next point is improves finish. Provides a smooth, uniform surface and reduce honeycombing, and surface defects. So after casting, you remove your formwork, you'll be seeing, a very good finish, a good wall finish, right? Because there's no honeycomb, there's no need for you to start plastering, wasting of additional material, additional workforce to do, most of this finishing work for you, because the concrete comes out, just as you've expected. So you just do a little bit of cleanup and there you go. So it saves time and labor. So it actually helps to speed up the concreting process and reduces the effort required for manual compaction. So it actually helps to reduce the effort of doing manual compaction, getting people to, patch here, push here. There's no need for all that, because you've actually used your Pooka vibrator. It helps to, save your time. It also save, the labor, getting more labor to do additional work. Then, it helps you to speed up the construction and concreting process and reduce the effort of requiring for, manual compaction. I know you're not going to just get manual, you're going to get people to do the manual compaction for you. Then the next point is increases durability. So durability is another area that we need to look at. So it helps to reduce permeability and improves resistance to water. A well compacted concrete actually have these characteristics. You understand? It helps to reduce the permeability and also improves the resistance to water, right? Then frost and chemical attack. So resistance to water, then resistance to also frost and also chemical attack. So these are just the factors. These are just the factors that we actually need to consider, when you are doing your concreting, right? Because it reduces permeability and improves resistance to water, which is a very, very important one. Then frost and chemical attack. So even in the future, if your concrete is being attacked with chemical, right, because of the concrete is well compacted, so it will have little to no effect on the concrete itself. So we'll be taking a look at uses, an application. Where do we use our concrete Pooka vibrator? So compaction of foundation and footings. So when you are doing your foundation construction, your footing construction, right, you actually need a very sound concrete structure. So you'll be needing to use your concrete Pooka vibrator to vibrate to help you get the desired strength, right? Help you get a resisting concrete, right? So you actually need your Pooka vibrator. Then for RCC columns, beams and slab. So when you're constructing your RCC columns, RCC beams and slabs, so you actually need your Pooka vibrator. And for your bridges, your bridge deck and retaining wall. So for your bridges, so you actually need this in your bridges, because you when you're constructing your bridge deck and all those things, you have to actually get the desired strength for your bridge. Even if you're using your retaining wall too, you actually need the desired strength for your retaining wall. So because these are complex structures that actually need the best of the best. Then we have precast concrete element. Yeah, when you're doing your precast concrete, because you'll be using your mold and you'll be using your formwork for your precast concrete. So in your precast concrete, you actually need to even use your vibrating machine, so that it will help you to vibrate your concrete together, right? Then mass concrete structure. So for a mass concrete structure, you actually need your Pooka vibrator. Then pavement and industrial floors, you actually need your Pooka vibrator. Then any RCC member requiring high quality compaction. So you determine where you need, as an engineer, you determine where you need to use your Pooka vibrator, because when you're constructing any RCC member that is requiring high quality compaction, so you can actually employ the usage of concrete Pooka vibrator. So typical operation, So you actually need to look at how Pooka Vibrator works. So we're looking at the picture that is depicting how Pooka Vibrator works. So we have the flexible node. You understand that flexible node helps to adjust the Pooka Vibrator so that it can flexibly enter into areas and compact those areas for you. Then we have the field head. So it is the field head that actually vibrates. So it causes the vibration that does the compaction. Then we have your reinforcement, right? Then we have the formwork, right? So then we have the freshly concrete. We have fresh concrete because this actually shows all the items you'll be needing. Your reinforcement, your freshly poured concrete, your formwork. Then you can see the Pooka vibrator inside vibrating to give you the desired strength. So concrete Pooka vibration is very, very important in construction if you actually want to get your desired strength.